Sorry. Okay. Is it showing up as um, a presentation?
No, we can't see it just yet.
Okay. Sorry.
There we go.
Okay. So, okay. So I did an independent research on instituting sustainability policies in Maryville's undergraduate science labs. Sustainability is a core value at Maryville University. This quote is taken directly from Maryville's core value website. It says sustainability is an appreciation that our collective global environment requires good, prudent stewardship and meaningful consideration of those who will inherit our institution, community, and world. As Maryville embarks on plans to redesign science labs for future Maryville students, what sustainable approaches should we take to ensure our core values are being expressed to their full potential? Students graduating from Maryville should know how to implement sustainability in our future workforce and lives. Goals of this project were to investigate Maryville's current sustainable practices, identify the areas where Maryville could improve practices, and implement new sustainable protocols. Once all of this is accomplished, we could apply to become a certified green lab, which would be good for advertising Maryville's science and healthcare programs and fulfilling a core value at Maryville University. The methods I took to conduct this research were interviewing Maryville instructors and lab managers, Vedada Bersuvic, Jennifer Day, Timothy Shineberry, and Dr. Stacey Donovan and Malia Dembar. I also researched sustainable practices at other universities and tried to see how similar implementations and the universities were implementing those. So I started with our biology and chemistry labs. There are a couple different options for reducing our waste of Petri dishes. Maryville already uses glass Petri dishes where they can, and they do have to use some plastic Petri dishes because of the protocols being given to them as students, and we could reduce this waste by using thinner Petri dishes, and we could reduce the plastic use by 61%. Also, there are a couple different options for reducing our pipette use. One of them is to install a dishwasher for plastic pipette tips. This could reduce this was the most, beneficial thing that I saw to be implemented. This could reduce shipping pollution, box recycling, overall less ordering and upkeep on stocking the materials as well. And this would be done to 30,000 tips per year that Maryville approximately uses. For cleaning up in the labs, there are a couple different options. One that I found was on bamboo towels. They can be washed up to 100 times and reused. This could reduce our paper towel use in the labs, and then also reusing of reusable centrifuge vials and reusing buffers for electrophoresis by implementing a labeling and just kind of educating the lab personnel of use. And then the nursing labs, there is a gross anatomy cadaver lab that uses booties. And after further investigation, I found that there wasn't a regulation for this personal protective equipment in the labs. And I proposed that we could use locker storage for maybe some cheaper non-slip shoes that students could wear, and upcycling the scrubs that Maryville uses. Once a nursing student logo changes, the students have to discard of those scrubs and buy the new ones with the new logo. This could be given to the gross anatomy cadaver labs too, potentially, and or to other students needing the scrubs to store in the lockers. And we wouldn't have to use the booties, and we wouldn't have to use new scrubs bought for those labs, because usually after those labs you throw away the materials that you used anyways, because the formaldehyde just kind of makes it really stink and you don't want to use them. So then another thing is that we could recycle unused equipment. We might have done this since the pandemic, recent stuff. And then also refillable saline bags. We already refill the saline bags now, the nursing labs do, but we don't want to compromise the Maryville equipment by having mold in the saline bags. So one recommendation was to use thymol antiseptic for mold reduction. And then all of the labs overall, there is a dishwasher that is in the renovation budget to be installed to Maryville in the next 5 years. And this could save potentially 1,600 gallons of water a year. There are a couple different glove recycling programs that we could use. The one that I found to be the most widespread use and have the most benefits was the Kimberly Clark gloves. They are sold to us, and they use eco-friendly materials already, and then they provide a recycling program that diverts about 50,000 gloves from landfills annually. And then they take all of those gloves and upcycle them into other plastic materials. We could also recycle printer cartridges and unused lab equipment to labs in need. This was just kind of one of the labs that are using a website to communicate more effectively. And this is Harvard's lab. They use this website to kind of go through their different tips and how-tos in the lab to increase sustainability. And they also have a video symposium for watching the presenters tackle different challenges and solutions in their labs. They use this site to post events and their Green Labs news. In the conclusions of this lab, Maryville is already doing a great job at implementing some sustainable practices. After investigating our lab practices, I found a couple areas where we can improve and compile a list of suggestions. Implementing these suggestions could potentially save thousands of pounds of waste produced annually. And for future work, I suggest that we enact suggested practices and protocols and potentially apply to be a certified green lab. And we could even investigate more so into individual labs and their sustainable practices and maybe protocols. And we could just increase the communication among laboratories at Maryville and have a more cohesive approach to our sustainability core value. I think that this would help a lot for implementing different procedures and protocols. I wanted to thank Dr. Donovan for helping to propose the research question and all of your insight. And then Dr. Ulrich was great with guidance and support through this whole process, making it really easy. I wanted to thank the Maryville staff that met with me for interviews and gathered information for me to make this research possible. And thanks to Maryville for allowing the opportunity to conduct research proposed independently and allowing me to participate in this platform to present it. And if there's any questions.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Can you see the chat?
I cannot. I'll move over to that. I'm sorry.
No problem. If you can see it, I'll let you read it. If not, I can read the questions to you.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, okay. So saving money in the long run. There is definitely potential for saving money because we won't have to be ordering some of the materials like the pipette tips and a couple of the other things. There could be I think potential cost benefits for that. And then I would recommend the most I would recommend the most one to be adopted soon would be the pipette tips and some of the implementing just new protocols to stuff that we already have, like the thymal antiseptic for the saline bags, and for getting a communication platform up and running. I think that that would be the most beneficial because then we could kind of see some areas and ideas where people have answers on our campus and utilizing all of our staff to the best of their ability, where one might not know who to ask for these problems, but if we can just get a communication platform out there, then maybe some of our sustainability questions can be answered right off the bat. And then I definitely think the pipette tips and the glove recycling would be two big programs that we could get off and running. And then if I was going to do a second phase of this project, I think that seeing the different implementations and after they are being implemented, like how much money it saves, what like good it actually does, how much waste is saved from our past practices and then future ones. I think that was all of the questions. Did I miss any?
I don't think so. Does anybody else have any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much, Michelle. We appreciate you sharing your talk with us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks. All right, so our next presenter starts at 11, so we'll take a couple moments and we'll get that going, let's say, in 3 minutes from now.